Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today, I know I said I was going to give you Married at First Sight during the break, but full disclosure, my holidays have been an interesting time. Unfortunately, my mom got sick, and we were watching Married at First Sight together to kind of give me an idea whether or not I wanted to cover the show. So we've been a little bit delayed on that. Um, so because of that, that's why I didn't get those out to you before, during the break. Um, but let me tell you, I've gotten through the weddings at this point of as I'm recording this half, and seeing what's to come with this season. This is what I want. I want potential, relationships potentially going to happen, although I'm not too sure. I'm a little confused. I feel like this isn't going to happen again, but I want the drama, I want good, healthy drama, and I'm in. So you'll be getting the episodes kind of like this. I'll probably I'm doing like the bunch, so I'll probably still be doing the 4 episodes each type of thing as I go, and then if I catch up by the time, when we catch up in time, and then we'll kind of do episode by episode, but until then, we'll be doing it this way. So, no other fluff, let's just jump into it. So, I've kind of combined the matchmaking special as well as episode 1. There wasn't a whole lot in episode 1 that I really wanted to talk about. It kind of kickstarts after that. So let's kind of go through the couples. I'll give my predictions as well in this point of what I thought at the time. I'm still second guessing myself after episode 3, so we'll see. But here we go. So we have Aisha and MM. I said yes for them. Now, for those people who maybe don't know, they're a Black couple. They're both of African descent. So, they figured that this would work for them because, they, he wanted to be with a Black woman. She wanted to be with a man who's dated Black women. Didn't necessarily have to be a Black man, but as someone who is used to dating Black women. Because I think it's so important to find a man who is used to dating Black women. We do not want a repeat of what's his face in last season. So who was with Laura? I can't remember his name. Anyway, so I said yes initially. I still felt yes, even with the wedding. After just seeing what's potentially going to come, I'm confused, y'all. But let's continue. Next couple, Madison and Alan. I said maybe at this point, only because I wasn't sure if she'd be attracted to him. But once she kind of described later on in the episode, or maybe the next episode, when she described what it is she kind of wants. She wants an athletic man. She wants someone with kind of more of a baby face, tall. I'm like, okay, she's kind of describing Alan. So I had maybe initially, but that kind of changed for me over to, I think it's possible. I think this could actually work. But we'll see. So next we have Carla and Juan, and I wrote a big fat no. And I still think no. I think they're into each other initially, for sure. I think they are physically attracted to each other. But I think there are going to be certain things about her that is going to drive him nuts. He annoys me too. Constantly talking about you're American Latino and all this, which, fine, you're American, which I'm going to talk about that in a second. You're American Latino. I'm okay with that. Obviously, I don't care. You are who you are. And he wants to be with someone who is able to be with a man and respecting his Latino side. I think, again, very important. Y'all, he's not American Latino. He was born in Mexico. He is Latino. Like, I'm confused. But he could be a little annoying on that sense. And more on that a little bit later, okay, y'all? But with her, I go back and forth. I'm like, I do like her as a person, but I think this go with the flow type situation, let the universe direct me where I'm gonna go, free spirited, which Keith Morrison would have something to say about that. But I think that part of it is going to drive him nuts because he, as we'll kind of talk about a little bit later, he is a go with the flow if he's planned it. And she is the opposite. As a person who likes to plan, that would drive me nuts. So I said no. Michelle and David, I put maybe at this point, just in the fact of they seem to have, physically speaking, both be kind of getting what they want. But y'all, we'll talk about it. I'm going to say it's a no moving forward after watching the weddings. And then Camille and Thomas, I said yes. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Anyway, we do get the wedding, their wedding, Camille and Thomas's wedding in the last bit of the first episode. And she's like, I don't think she was going to make it to the altar, y'all. But she does. Okay, I liked everyone's dresses for the most part. I didn't, like, for my personal sense, Carla's dress was too simple for me, but I did like everyone's dress. I did not like Camille's. I did not like Camille's dress. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. I didn't like it. I just, no. Anyways, that was kind of it with the first episode. The second episode, again, just kind of going through the weddings again. Madison and Alan, again, seem to be really digging each other initially. So it's kind of, I was like, maybe it's possible. And Carla says that she already loves Juan before even meeting him. And I'm like, ooh. My girl hasn't even seen this man. And that kind of goes to show, she kind of alludes to it as well, that she is kind of a person who maybe is all in with her relationships when maybe she shouldn't be giving that type of energy to those relationships. So she's kind of all in on things right off the bat. And we kind of see that with Juan before the girls even met him. And she says that she likes to look like a 60s pinup baby doll. And I'm like, 60s pinup baby? Does she mean like Betty Bopp? But again, she looked great. I mean, besides the dress I kind of said was very simple for me, but her hair looked great, her makeup looked great, she looked great. And then when she kind of gets to the altar, she's like, are you in love? And he's like he literally paused, y'all. He paused and he's like, well, I hope to be. No, because rationally speaking, you're not going to fall in love with this person. You don't know each other, at this point. And did anyone else notice, if anyone else remembered, their officiant was so slow with the things that she was saying? Like, pause, pause, pause. Then she'd say something else, like really slow. And I'm like, you need to speed the, please speed up. Like, it was annoying. Anyways, her song about, well, how did it go again? Gonna see my husband. I'm gonna see whatever the hell she was singing. I'm like, please shut up. And she's like, I want to sing the song all day. And I said, no, please, no. It was so annoying. But my girl really loves the color purple. Is there a reason for that? Did she like the movie, The Color Purple, and then she just kind of ran with it? Yeah, which is fine. But I'm just trying to understand her love for purple. Now, I have an aunt who also loves the color purple, and it kind of got passed down to one of my cousins. And I'm just like, but still not like that. Damn. Everything was purple. The bouquet was purple. The color decor was purple. I think even her earrings had a little bit of purple. Everything was purple. I said, damn. Anyway, David, who's marrying Michelle, guy who lives at home, he's getting married on his birthday. The biggest thing here with that is his dad got married on his birthday, and they've been married for decades. His brother, 36 years, I think he said. His brother also got married on his birthday, and they've been married for 6 years. So he's kind of hoping that the birthday thing is gonna work. We'll see. I don't know, man. So episode 3, which is where I'm at right now, we'll be taking a pause after this episode. Um, it definitely does seem like David and Michelle, initially speaking, were really into each other. She has all the attributes that he was asking for. He has the attributes that she was asking for. But then when they kind of start talking about the different things that, one does, they kind of talk about, they seem to both be in agreement that they don't drink at home. They drink more socially. But then he also said, yeah, I also smoke socially. And without even a thought, and I agreed with her, she was like, ew, I don't like that. Agreed. Honestly, honest to God, I would rather you smoke weed, and I don't particularly like the smell of weed either, but I would rather you smoke weed socially or even recreationally than for you to smoke socially, because at least if I kiss you with weed in your system, it's not going to be a bad tasting thing. When you kiss someone who's a smoker, it's disgusting. I mean, I haven't been around a lot of cigarette smokers. I've been dating a lot of cigarette smokers. It's been more weed, but it's just it's not it's no. It tastes like ash. It really does. It's disgusting. Um, so she's kind of turned off by that. But then he just hits her with the 1-2 punch with the, oh, and I also live at home. And she's like, oh, okay. And I think honestly, with that, along with being told in the meet your husband, um, in that they kind of mention he's a mama's boy, I think all of that is definitely creating some second guessing. We'll kind of talk about that a little later. But it's kind of definitely kind of putting a bad taste in her mouth. Um, so she does kind of talk to his parents about, so he told me some things. The first thing being like the cigarette smoking. What are your thoughts on that? And again, I don't know what her end goal here is, because again, he is a grown ass man, he's 36. But at the end of the day, his parents straight up say, we don't like it either. Like, he won't smoke around his parents, will not smoke around his dad. Like, it's a hard pass. And not only that, we find out in this moment, oh, his mom, cancer survivor. What in the hell is this man doing? Because again, if your mother, who he seems to love and adore, is a cancer survivor, you're then going to smoke cancer sticks? Explain. I'm confused. Anyway, especially because he smokes socially, then you don't seem to actually really be addicted to it in the same way as someone who smokes it recreationally. So I don't know. Um, and then later on, while she's kind of talking to her friends about everything, that's kind of transpired. She's having a mentee bee, y'all. She's having a mentee bee about everything that's being told to her. And she's in the bathroom crying freaking out about him living at home. And the thing is, it's like, listen, is it a red flag? 100%. Now, I don't, when he constantly keeps saying, oh, I don't live at home because I have to. I live at home because I want to. That doesn't make it any better, my guy. It doesn't make it any better. Actually, it might be worse than saying you need to. So, um, but her reaction to him living at home is a lot. It's a lot. Girl, calm down. I wonder if she is creating this more in her head because maybe she's not as into him as she maybe was initially. I do wonder that. I don't know. We'll never really know, but, or maybe we do. I just don't. Not yet. Anyway, we'll take a pause on them for now. Thomas and Camille. So we do find out throughout this that Thomas was actually in a 9-year relationship and it ended only 4.5 years ago. And when she asks him also what happened, because I mean, 9 years is a long time, what happened? He says, oh, we drifted apart. Listen, y'all, when he was thinking about the thing to say, you could tell he's thinking, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And here's why. Again, after watching episode 2, seeing what's to come, you're like, oh, we already know what's about to be said. So with him lying to her about the situation, or not necessarily lying to her, but keeping key points out, which is lying, um, but purposely keeping things out is a choice. And he says, we'll get to it. I don't want to go too far ahead, but when we gotta see them talking to their respective family members. When he's speaking to her family members and this relationship is brought up, he says to them, oh, you know what? Honestly, I stepped out of the relationship. I was having like doubts and whatnot. He was second guessing the relationship and he stepped out and admitting he cheated on her. So why didn't you tell your wife that? Why were you just honest? And they're like, oh, okay. And he says to them that, listen, I went to therapy for 6 months to try to figure out what's been going on. And I said, 6 months, that's it? And you're all cured? Honestly, I think not only did he need maybe therapy as to why he did what he did, but I think he needs to go to therapy for other things as well. He may have been happy in his family. I'm not disparaging that. However, you were still an adopted child. And I don't know if his father would have passed by then, but you're dealing with different things happening in life that maybe he should have continued therapy. But kind of like Ed, he's out at 6 months and I'm cured. So yeah. But he, again, the moral of this is he is honest with them, not her. And then when she's speaking to his people and she's explaining, oh, this is what he told me about the relationship, they're like, oh, that's all he said. That's it. That's it. Um, interesting. Leading to the fact of they want to say, my guy cheated, but bro code, right? So anyway, girl code is her friends go to her and say, so yeah, we had this conversation with him about his relationship and yeah, like he cheated on her. And apparently that is a non-negotiable for her. However, she explains it away. Where I would be asking questions, I mean, I'm not saying I'm out, but I would have to question, but why did he lie to me? near like literally a few minutes ago about or left that part out. What, like I would be questioning that personally. But anyways, a break with them for now. EKG and MM. Now, there's not much I really want to talk about in terms of their wedding. Their wedding looked great. Looked like they were into each other and everything. But the song, the song that he wrote and his other person was singing, incredible, incredible song there. So he's really good. He's good. But when her cousin is talking to him about everything in terms of like his intentions and everything like that, my guy's intense, intense. And you could kind of tell that he was kind of like getting his back up a little bit, but he was trying to get through it. But like them talking about, I wish maybe EKG could have maybe opened up a little more um, about like where things went wrong in that relationship that he had prior, because his friends and family, talking to her, kind of say like, yeah, he was in this relationship with this woman. It was a long time ago, 12 years ago, and it didn't work out because she broke his heart. But when he's talking to her cousin, he doesn't say that. He kind of says they drifted apart, which makes it seem a lot worse than it actually was. Maybe, potentially, right? But maybe this is his way of, I don't want to make her look bad and everything. So, like, I don't know the situation and why he didn't open up about that with him. Because I think if you were to explain, yeah, it didn't work out because, something happened and whether it was she cheated or whatever the case may be, which I think they said she cheated on him, if I'm correct. Sorry about my voice. Um, but yeah, if that was what happened, that's a good reason to end an engagement, right? But instead, to the cousin, I think his name was Rafu. If he says to him, "Oh yeah, we just drifted apart," which sounds a lot worse because it just seems like your attention can't be held on one person for very long. So I think he kind of did himself a disservice in that. But anyways, it's basically it for them for now. And then Carla and Juan. So we kind of already talked about this a little bit prior, that Carla flows with no plan. And he flows with the plan. So it was just like, this isn't gonna work. But when they kind of go up to the room, she kind of says, "Oh, like I usually sleep in the nude, but obviously like I'm not gonna do that with this man that I've just met." Um, and I mean honestly, and no, I'm not I'm not even saying anything about it if they were to have sex with each other right here and right now. But we've seen this happen before with like with Paige and Chris, for example, and it's just like it doesn't work. Please don't sleep with each other. But I feel like Carla would be one who would. Again, do you boo? But anyway, the other thing that kind of happens with him is he plays a guitar and he sings a song. And I said, you can refrain from singing the song, but all I could think of, which I can't remember his name, but if you remember from the Love is Blind season, what was her name again? I can't remember her name either, but they were the ones that were with like um Ayana and Jared and whatever, and it was the other one that he proposed to and who she ended up with, that guy who would always play the ukulele or whatever the hell it was he was playing. It made me think of that. It made me think of that he's gonna break out in song any second. And I feel like this wasn't the last of the guitar playing, which again, listen, if you can play the guitar, great. Don't sing. And it's funny because my mom at the end of it was kind of like, I think he's trying to be the next like wannabe Mark Anthony. And I said, Mark Anthony, he will never be. Because the one thing you need to be Mark Anthony is talent. You don't have that. So, anyway, that's basically it for episode 1 to 3. We're going to take a quick pause here and then we'll come in with episode 4 and then that'll be it for this episode. So yeah, when we come back, we will jump in with the next episode, which is episode 4. Okay, so I'm back with episode 4, and if you notice, I sound different for episode 4 than I do the other episodes. It's because recording this little bit here, on January 21st, where I am sick. This is my life. You're also going to get episode 5 in this as well because I have finished 5, so I'm going to add 5 to the end of this just because, why not? So, episode 4. So we're kind of meeting this after the weddings, we're meeting the families, and Madison's dad is like, listen, you need to do some STD testing, okay? We need to make sure that you didn't get the Rhea like Lauren did with that girl at Halloween. We need to make sure of this, okay? And then not only that, but you need to have the test results. You need to show that to Madison. And you know what? Even better yet, you need to send that to me too. I need to make sure that my daughter's going to be okay. I'm like, Jesus, Lord. Dad is kind of overstepping a little bit because, listen, I'm actually here for him saying, go get your dick tested. I'm fine with that. But what I have an issue with is him being like, you need to show me the results too. And I'm like, whoa, before you even think of doing anything, you can't kiss her. You might have the Rhea. We don't know. You might have the illness of the whores. We really, truly don't know. So we need to make sure that you're good. Anyway, the next thing is Alan's mom. She's an ugly crier. She saw that Oprah Winfrey episode and she's like, that's what I'm going to do. And I honestly can't remember what she's crying about, probably because like her son's leaving her. I don't know. But it's just like, wow. And then Juan's dad, this was an interesting conversation too. Juan's dad asked like, so what do you do for money? After she's like talking about this really cute moment, and she's like, yeah, so like Juan, he like played this guitar for me and he sang a song. It was like that guy in Love is Blind. And like he was so like sweet. And his dad was like, so what do you do for money? Like, way to kill the vibe. And he's like, it has to be 50-50. It can't be 80-20 or I don't know, 40-60. It needs to be 50-50. And you don't have your 50, well, you're flat out of luck. Don't know to tell you. But luckily, the rest of his family kind of comes in and says, that's something I think they can figure out. I think they could figure out whatever works for them. Because he's not saying 50-50 because maybe that's what Juan thinks. But he's saying 50-50 because it's what he thinks. But I'm like, but she's not married to you. Anyway, I'm going to kind of get into the fact that this girl, the one that David's married to, which I can't remember her name right now. I don't know what I'm going to call her moving forward because honestly, she's really annoying. But she keeps harping on the fact that this guy lives at home. No matter how much he will kind of say the reasons for why he does, whether or not you agree with it is one thing, but him constantly telling you why and you're not satisfied by that, it says more about you than it does about him. Now, would I think is interesting? Maybe. But again, I can't say shit because I live at home too. Sometimes times are just tough. But it's not like I don't think he lives for free. And like she just keeps harping on it. And we're going to kind of hear more of what she has to say about this in the next episode because she's actually very demeaning. And it makes me like, yes, are you valid in thinking this way? Sure. But you're not the first nor the last person who will think this way. But for you to say some of the things you're going to say to him in the next episode, it's makes me kind of be like, okay, well, if you're so secure in yourself and you're so happy with where you are at being a single woman for the past 6 years, and we'll get to that in a minute, then why are you here? Like, I really want to know, like, why are you on this show? You realize the show is called Married at First Sight, correct? You're getting married. You have to allow room for the person for whom you're marrying. And it's like she has no room in her life or in her heart or in her head or in her whatever. She has no room. And it's, I don't know. So that's basically where episode 4 ends. Oh, before I finish that too, she does say him living at home is a turn off. Thanks, ma'am. We figured that out. But let's go to episode 5. We find out here that David, homeboy David, has a tattoo of his ex's name on his body. And I'm like, okay, great. So that's another thing for her to harp on. You live at home, you smoke socially, and now you have a tattoo of your ex on your chest. Like, I'm like, okay, that's not gonna go over well. And it made me actually also wonder, I'm like, why didn't he cover that up in the entire time since he's been a single man? Because he's been single for a while too. I understand he was in this 12-year relationship, but you couldn't have gotten that covered, my guy. So he does end up telling her, because he told the guys first, but he does end up telling her that he has a tattoo, that he wants to get it covered up. And he's like, would you come with me if I did? Like, he's trying to open up to her and say, let's do this experience together, because she's my past, but you're my future. So, like, why not try and do this together? And she's just like, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. Okay? I think this is something he can do by himself. And she like, okay, is the judgment, like, understandable, and do I agree with her? Absolutely. But she judges here where she's like, I mean, if some guy wanted to put my name on his tattoo, like on his, do a tattoo of my name on him, like, I wouldn't be about that. I don't want my name being on anyone. I get that. I do. Because I wouldn't want that either. I wouldn't want to get a tattoo of my man on me either. Because no, it feels very possessive, and absolutely fucking not. However, there are people out here who do this bullshit. Okay. Either they do that or they get matching tattoos a la Ethan and Olivia. But people do this. But you can't judge people for the fact that they do this. This might not be something you agree with, and I agree with that. But you can't judge people for doing it. You weren't in their space. You weren't in their heads. You weren't in their relationship. You weren't in any of that. So to judge it is just unnecessary, I think, is the point I'm trying to get across. She's unnecessary. But don't you worry, y'all. She's still going to harp on shit because this is who she is. She is who she is. Okay? So, someone, I can't remember exactly who it is now, says, like, I feel like we're doing the same song and dance here, that they're, like, trying to, you know, make it work, but then we take 2 steps back. We're trying to make it work, but if 2 steps back, it's like, we're literally doing, like, the 2-step. And he's like, I want to know about your family. And he's really trying to open up to knowing her and to making this work. And she's just out here not even trying. She's that other girl there whose name I can't remember, but I'm a good person. Okay? Like, she's like that girl. I could do the voice really well with my nasally voice right now. Anyway, like, she can, like, that's kind of how she is. And she kind of says to him, she's like, I don't want you to know anything at this point. So basically, you have put the nail in the coffin of your relationship before it had even started. And it's in this moment watching the episode where I'm like, where are the experts? Because once upon a time, the experts would be available. Whether they were there or not, they were always available. And they're just not fucking available. It's like, where are they? Like, you're leaving these two strangers together alone in Mexico for a week, that there are potentially going to be bumps along the way. We've seen it so many times. And I feel like this is where the issues start to happen, is during the honeymoon. And then it's really hard for them to come back from it. And the experts are just over there doing what? Pastor Cal's over there doing nothing. And Pepper is not living with her husband. Like, what's happening? Like, where are they? They really should be here guiding them and kind of helping them get out of their own way, because this girl, whose name I can't remember and I will never remember, and I'm going to have to call her something else because I can't. Negative Nanny. There we go. Or whatever. Nancy. Is it Negative Nancy? Whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. Negative girly over here. She's in her own way. She is in the process of self-sabotaging because she can't let go of the fact that this guy lives at home. And yeah, the smoking is gross. I get that. But it's not that big of a deal. Especially because this man clearly doesn't smoke all the time. He smokes socially. So this is something I'm sure he can cut the habit out. But but that's not even the biggest deal for her. Obviously, it's him living at home. You need to get out of your own way and at least open yourself up to this process, at the very least, to see where this can go. And you're not even trying. Like, again, why are you here? So that's basically that for them. For now, I will have something else I'll say. I'll leave it to the end because I don't think I wrote it down, but I'll save it to the end. Thomas found out that he was adopted through social media. So his mom, which shame on you for this, his mom literally put on social media, whichever platform it was, we'll say Facebook because it probably was Facebook, and says, "Happy Twin Day." And something around the lines of, them being adopted. And he said he was 31 or something. Like, he's in his 30s, but he was like very early 30s. And this is when he finds out that he was actually adopted. So it's like, okay, you couldn't have made sure he was aware, both of your kids were aware that they were adopted prior to you posting this on social media? Like, really? First of all, didn't know Twins Day was a day. Okay? Maybe I wouldn't know because I don't have twins, and I am not a twin. But I didn't know Twins Day was a thing. But Twins Day, sure, fun, cool. But, like, you couldn't, I don't know, handle that better. And he ends up going to his dad before he passed to basically say to him, "Be honest with me, am I adopted?" And his dad says yes. And it's kind of from there is when he gets in contact with his birth mom and everything like that. So it's just like, I mean, the story is incredible, but like, I'm a little upset that you don't even think about what your child is going to see on social media before you post it. Like, that's horrible. And like, I'm sorry, but like, you can't, in this case, you can't say, "Oh, I thought you knew." No, ma'am, clearly I didn't. Like, you need to have that open communication about things like this and ensure that they do know. Like, you know what I mean? Horrible. It's just like finding out, okay, for my true crime people out there, it's just like the daughter of Diane Downs that she was pregnant with during the trial. Or was it after the trial? No, I think it was before a trial. During the trial, yeah. She got pregnant with this other baby. And that little girl later on finds out or suspects anyways that she was adopted because somehow along the way there was the connection of her and someone connected that to Diane Downs, and that's how she finds out she's freaking related to a serial killer, right? Well, no, she wasn't a serial killer. She would have not been deemed that yet, or deemed that because she killed her kids, but she didn't kill all three of them. Fucking bitch. Maybe I'll try and do one of that because let me tell you, whew, boy, when that one hit my airways, I'm like, this can't be real. This can't be real. Y'all, I couldn't listen to Eye of the Tiger for the longest time without thinking about this is what these children heard while being attacked by their mother, you know? And that she also sang that at the freaking trial. You know what? We're not going to get into it. I'm going to stop. Because I can go on forever about Diane Downs. But yeah, it's just like, it's kind of like that. You have to make sure you're so careful in how your children are finding out that they're adopted, because like that alone is going to be like, I can't even imagine. It's probably so like confusing for them. And then to find out you're finding out in that way, like luckily he's an adult and he can handle his emotions at least, right? But like, it's just yikes. Anyways, then we have this conversation from what's her name? What's her name? The Latina girl. I can't remember her name right now, guys. Sorry. We're having a conversation and she's like, sex is energy. Like, it's like the pre-cum, and like you gotta like put in like your energy into us. And yeah, like, I don't know what else she said. And the ejaculate is the energy. And she's just like, and you could tell Juan's back there being like, Jesus. And someone, I can't remember who it was, is like, yo, Juan. He's like, don't worry, I'm taking notes. But she does kind of say like sex is energy, and like you don't want to necessarily share energies with everybody, which is true. I really do believe that. But it like maybe not quite as like this, because I can create an energy, don't you worry. But it's just like it's a lot. Anyway, then we head back to the doomsday couple. And she's like, guys, producers, this isn't working. Okay. I can't remember why I got married, Tyler Perry. I can't remember. Well, I mean, girl, like, it's only been a few, like, you've been doing this process for, I think it's 2 months, 3 months. It's like a 3-month process. You're only not even, you're like 2 days married, okay? And you've already forgotten why you got married. I mean, shit. Like, damn it. Why are we here? And here's the thing too about her that kind of drives me nuts. She kind of uses the trope of, oh, I've been single for 6 months. I've been single for 6 months. Like, I'm used to my space. I've been single for 6 years. Not months, 6 years. But she's been dating. She was in a relationship with somebody for like 3 years. Just because you didn't live with them, though, doesn't mean you're not in a relationship with the person. You were in a relationship. So how did that shit turn out? And how did he last for 3 years? Like, shit. Like, she's not okay. Not okay. There's something off about my girl. Okay. But anyways, that is the end of episode 5. That is the end of my episode. Again, I am sorry for the sound of my voice. But again, this is coming out after the announcement of Patreon. So I'm going to just plug it here at the end. If you want to be a part of the Patreon, you can head over to Patreon. I'll have the link in the show notes that you can go and and become a member of Patreon. It is already up, ready to go, so you can become, but it won't be fully launched until February. I think it's a fully launched. Yeah, I think so. Am I crazy? I think it is. Pretty sure it is. Yeah. It's there already. You can go ahead and become a member, but just know it's not going to be fully up yet until February 1st, with the first episode coming out on February 6th, Thursday. So that will be the Jersey Shore episodes if you are on the second tier. And then if you want to go full out and go on the third tier, you can do so. And there you'll be getting the true crime documentaries. The first one that's coming out is going to be the Ashley Madison documentary. But so you know, documentaries are already up and running up until April. And I already have things on pretty much until May, but everything is there. So I won't go too far ahead with that, but you can expect that there. And there's always going to be an update. And if you want to try before you buy, you do get free, as mentioned in the episode that has all of the information. You can try each tier out for free, or you can also wait until episodes are out on the main feed and you can check them out that way as well. But that's basically it. If you want the full information on the Patreon, you can head over to that episode, which is called Special Announcement Episode. Came out on the 16th of January. And you can check it out there too, where it has everything you need. And it is also pinned. The episodes currently are pinned on Facebook and Twitter. And it is available on all the other socials as well. Reddit, Instagram. But yes, everything is there ready to go. It's not fully up and ready yet on the website, but it will be. But you can still have access to it on those forums, or you can just head to the episode down on the feed and you'll see it there. And you can take a listen and see what's to come. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode. That's it for me, guys. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps, every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.